Let's begin by understanding what a monopoly is. In economics, a monopoly refers to a market structure where a single company or entity is the exclusive provider of a particular product or service. This means that consumers have no alternative options, and the monopolist can set prices and control supply without competition. Monopolies can arise due to various reasons, such as government regulation, ownership of key resources, or technological superiority. The absence of competition often leads to higher prices and less innovation, making monopolies a critical topic in market analysis. Market power is the ability of a firm to influence or control the terms and conditions of the market, especially price and output. In a competitive market, no single firm has significant market power, but in a monopoly, the sole provider wields substantial influence. This power allows the monopolist to set prices above competitive levels, restrict output, and potentially earn higher profits. Understanding market power is essential for analyzing how monopolies impact consumers and the overall economy. Monopolies can emerge for several reasons. Sometimes a company controls a unique resource, such as a rare mineral or technology, giving it exclusive production rights. In other cases, government regulations or patents grant one firm the sole right to produce a good or service. Network effects, where the value of a product increases as more people use it, can also lead to monopoly power. Each origin story shapes how the monopoly operates and its impact on the market. Natural monopoly occurs when a single firm can supply the entire market at a lower cost than multiple competing firms. This often happens in industries with high fixed costs and significant economies of scale, such as utilities or railways. Because duplicating infrastructure would be inefficient, natural monopolies are sometimes regulated by governments to prevent abuse of market power while ensuring consumers receive essential services. Legal monopolies are established by law, granting exclusive rights to a single firm. Governments may create legal monopolies to control essential services, such as postal delivery or public utilities, ensuring consistent quality and access. Patents are another example where inventors receive temporary monopoly rights to encourage innovation. While legal monopolies can benefit society, they must be carefully regulated to prevent consumer exploitation. Like competitive firms, a monopolist can set prices above marginal cost, maximizing profits at the expense of consumer surplus. This pricing power often leads to higher prices and reduced output compared to competitive markets. Consumers may have to pay more for less, and the lack of alternatives can make the market less responsive to consumer needs. Understanding monopoly pricing is key to evaluating its economic impact. Monopolies are often protected by barriers to entry, which prevent new competitors from entering the market. These barriers can include high startup costs, control of essential resources, government regulations, or strong brand loyalty. By maintaining these barriers, monopolists can sustain their market power and limit competition, making it difficult for consumers to benefit from lower prices or improved products. Monopolies can significantly affect consumers. With no competition, monopolists may charge higher prices, offer fewer choices, and have less incentive to innovate or improve quality. Consumers may feel trapped as switching to alternatives is not possible. This can lead to reduced consumer welfare and dissatisfaction, highlighting the importance of competition in markets. For producers, monopoly power can be both an advantage and a challenge. The monopolist enjoys higher profits and market security, but other firms are excluded from the market. This exclusion can stifle entrepreneurship and discourage investment in innovation. Over time, the lack of competition may reduce overall industry growth and efficiency. Monopoly pricing often leads to deadweight loss, which is the loss of economic efficiency when the equilibrium outcome is not achieved. In a monopoly, some consumers who would have purchased at a competitive price are priced out of the market, resulting in lost welfare for both consumers and producers. This inefficiency is a key argument against unchecked monopoly power. Pairing monopoly to competitive markets highlights important differences. In competition, many firms vie for customers, leading to lower prices, more choices, and greater innovation. In contrast, a monopoly faces no rivals, allowing it to set prices and control supply. This comparison helps us understand why competition is often preferred for consumer welfare and economic growth. Real-world examples of monopolies include public utilities like water and electricity providers, which often operate as natural monopolies. In the past, companies like Standard Oil and AT&T held dominant positions in their industries. These examples illustrate how monopolies can arise and the potential consequences for consumers and markets. To prevent abuse of monopoly power, governments often regulate monopolies. This can include price controls, quality standards, or even breaking up large firms to restore competition. Regulation aims to balance the benefits of efficient production with the need to protect consumers from unfair practices. Antitrust laws are designed to promote competition and prevent monopolistic practices. These laws prohibit activities like price fixing, market division, and abuse of dominant position. Governments use antitrust enforcement to break up monopolies or prevent mergers that would reduce competition, ensuring markets remain open and fair. Monopolies can have mixed effects on innovation. On one hand, guaranteed profits may provide resources for research and development. On the other, the lack of competition can reduce the incentive to innovate. The overall impact depends on industry characteristics and how the monopoly is managed. Monopolies may achieve productive efficiency due to economies of scale, but they often fall short on allocative efficiency. This means resources may not be distributed according to consumer preferences, leading to welfare losses. Balancing efficiency and fairness is a central challenge in monopoly regulation. Some monopolists practice price discrimination, charging different prices to different consumers for the same product. This strategy can increase profits and in some cases allow more consumers access to the product. However, it can also raise fairness concerns and complicate market analysis. A key drawback of monopoly is the reduction in consumer choice. With only one provider, consumers cannot select among competing products or services. This lack of choice can lead to dissatisfaction and lower overall welfare, emphasizing the value of competitive markets. Without competition, monopolists may have less incentive to maintain or improve product quality. While some monopolies invest in quality to retain customers, others may cut corners, knowing consumers have no alternatives. This dynamic highlights the importance of oversight and regulation. Monopolists can earn higher profits than firms in competitive markets, thanks to their pricing power and lack of rivals. These profits can be used for investment or distributed to shareholders, but they may also attract regulatory scrutiny if seen as excessive or unfair. Monopoly power can reduce social welfare by creating inefficiencies and transferring wealth from consumers to producers. The loss of consumer surplus and deadweight loss are central concerns for policymakers who seek to balance firm incentives with public interest. Technology markets can foster monopolies due to network effects and high barriers to entry. Companies like Microsoft and Google have faced scrutiny for their dominant positions. These cases illustrate how technological advantages can translate into market power, raising questions about regulation and competition. Utilities like water, electricity, and natural gas are classic examples of natural monopolies. Because building duplicate infrastructure is inefficient, a single provider often serves the entire market. Governments typically regulate these monopolies to ensure fair prices and reliable service. Patents grant inventors temporary monopoly rights, encouraging innovation by allowing them to profit from their inventions. However, once the patent expires, competition resumes. This balance aims to reward creativity while ensuring long-term market access for consumers. Mergers between large firms can create or strengthen monopolies. Regulators review mergers to assess their impact on competition and consumer welfare. If a merger is likely to reduce competition significantly, it may be blocked or require conditions to proceed. To protect consumers, governments may impose price controls on monopolies, especially in essential services. These controls set maximum prices or require approval for price changes, aiming to prevent excessive charges while ensuring the firm remains viable. Monopoly power can extend beyond national borders, especially for multinational corporations. Global monopolies may influence international trade, pricing, and access to goods. International cooperation and regulation are sometimes needed to address these challenges. Ethical considerations play a role in monopoly discussions. Issues like fair pricing, access to essential goods, and corporate responsibility are central to debates about monopoly power. Balancing profit motives with social good is a key challenge for monopolists and regulators alike. In some cases, governments may break up monopolies to restore competition. This process, known as divestiture, separates a large firm into smaller independent companies. The goal is to increase competition, lower prices, and improve consumer welfare. Monopoly and market power are central concepts in economics, shaping how markets function and affecting consumers, producers, and society. While monopolies can offer efficiencies and innovation, unchecked power often leads to higher prices and reduced welfare. Effective regulation and competition policies are essential to balance these forces and ensure markets serve the public interest. As markets evolve, ongoing vigilance is needed to address new forms of monopoly power.